Look guys, this video is going to be about lower keys kayak launches. If you looked at my prior videos, I've got one or two-parter of Key West launches. This one will be with the parameters of Stock Island, which is the first island that you reach when you leave Key West, to the Bahia Honda Bridge, which is roughly mile marker 36. I'll be doing basically from west to east, and I'll encompass both Gulf launches and Atlantic launches. All these launches were basically found while researching fishing areas. So what I did is I would find a fishy location that I wanted to try, and then I would backtrack and try to find a launch that was close to that vicinity. Pretty much all of them except one are free public launches. They all have decent parking, and they're all fairly accessible right from the parking area to the water, so not a lot of need for wheels and so forth. It's a pretty even balance of Gulf and Atlantic side launches. Most of the keys will have either one or two launches to cover both sides, and all of them, like I said, should be some pretty fishy locales to be able to find a reason why I picked those there. Again, these are not all-inclusive launches. There's not a lot. Okay, one thing about the Keys is, just like anywhere else, is that there's a lot of private property these days. Hardly any very much public access. And in the Keys, the problem is not having very much public, but also most of the water areas have mangroves, which makes it inaccessible to even get down to the water. So that becomes a pretty big problem. Hopefully, if you come down and are fishing on the Keys, by using this video, you'll be able to find a spot that will be close to where you're at and close to where you want to fish. And it'll cut out all those driving time, research times of trying to find a spot to actually launch and then going from there. And it'll give you a kind of a key starting zone, so you can basically know which direction to head and not have to be paddling all over the place just to get to a certain spot. But anyways, take a look at the video. Hopefully you find a location that's going to be close to where you want to be. Again, if you have other locations that I don't have listing that you think would be good information for others, just let me know, and maybe I'll do an addendum video for this section. I will be doing another video for the Upper Keys. I lived up there for about 3 years ago and did a lot of fishing, so I have quite a few spots up there as well. It's just a bit far for me to go now, and I haven't been fishing up there in a while, so I need to do a little bit of recon first, so it might be a little bit before I get back up there, but I'll try to throw together something that'll cover some of those areas up there. Really good fishing up there just as well as it is down here. Otherwise, enjoy the video. Hopefully it helps, and see you on the water. Bye. Launch number 1 is the Stock Island Wayside Park public boat ramp, located on mile marker 5 on the south side of the Overseas Highway. You'll see it just as you leave Stock Island proper. Right on the right hand side, there's some small signs and an actual turn down driveway. Parking is not available on the ramp, so you would have to go on the opposite side of the Overseas Highway and park to the right of the gas station along the side of the road. This launch is good for fishing the bridge, the Boca Chica Bridge, as well as to the north, which has some good flats and channels, as well as the channels down south and then into the Atlantic. Launch number 2 is located about 100 yards west of the Boca Chica Bridge. It is located on the north side. You would basically park on the Overseas Highway, and if you look down the downgrade, you'll see an opening in the mangroves and a sort of beachy looking area. It's really the only nice open flat area that's located on that section there. A lot of time on the weekends you'll see families doing picnics and such right in that area. You can launch farther down by the bridge, but it's not as easily accessible. This gets you through to the Boca Chica Channel and to the northern areas, as well as the Boca Chica Bridge. Launch number 3 is located on Boca Chica. It is on the frontage road just west of the Boca Chica NAS off-ramp. It's about 200 yards from the off-ramp, and you'll kind of be able to see an opening in the mangroves. And what it is that it is a drainage pipe that exits out right at that part, and actually that drainage pipe runs across and underneath the actual Overseas Highway. That access will get you out into the Gulf, and it's also a good spot for catching pinfish for other types of fishing. Launch number 4 is located on Boca Chica. It is the southernmost point of the Boca Chica Road to the south. Basically, you'll take the Boca Chica Road at the gas station and just keep following that road as it wraps around, and it'll finally come to an end. You'll basically be right south of the airfield. You'll see a bunch of turnoffs on the left side of the road facing the ocean where a lot of people will park, and then you'll see cuts in the mangroves that'll allow you to go down, across and down into the beach. This is a very popular launch that I use to get to the Geiger Creek, which is a good windy day fishing area. There's also some decent flats fishing out front, and if you like a good off the beaten path beach, this is a good place to go. Launch number 5 is on Big Coppic Key, located on the end of Riviera Drive. This is my most popular launch for getting out into the Gulf. It is a public actual boat ramp with plenty of parking and easy access. I use this one to get out into the outer Gulf Keys sections for lobster. Excellent flats fishing, mangrove fishing, and it's fairly well protected from the wind. Yeah, one of my most popular launch spots that I use anytime that I want to go out into the Gulf. Launch number 6 is my number 1 launch spot. It's actually located off of the Big Coppic Key, but in the actual locale of Geiger Key Marina. This is a dirt public boat ramp. Utilized, it's not the deepest launch, so it doesn't take the larger boats, but bay boats, flats boats, and of course kayaks. Plenty of parking. It is a dirt parking lot. This launch is right in the central area of some excellent fishing locations. It's just off of the Shark Key channel, which gets you some good, excellent water flow. There's some right out front, some excellent flats. There's great mangrove fishing, and I use it to access the reef and wrecks, which are directly south of that launch. Quite a few protected areas when it's windy, so I can always, regardless of the wind direction, find a decent place to fish, as well as their vicinity of my most popular pilchard and mullet bait catching spots. I would say I probably use this launch 80% of the time. I like it because it's out of the way, it's quiet, there's not a lot of tourists out in that area there, and you get a lot less fishing pressure. So you'll see quite a few of my videos will actually be out of this launch, as well as a lot of my fishing will be, because it basically has everything. So I'll probably be doing a video that features this specific area, because it is probably the best all-around spot for kayak fishing. Launch number 7 is basically across the street from Shark Key, which is just east of Big Coppet Key. This is another public boat ramp right on the overseas highway. It's easily accessible, has a very good solid concrete ramp. However, there is no parking on this ramp as well. What people don't realize is that you are able to just go right across the street and park right alongside the overseas highway road there, just on the side of it. This access gets you right in the center of the Shark Channel, and if you go south, you'll be right in that central area where I talked about Geiger Key being my favorite fishing spot. This is just another access point forward for it. If you wanted to, you can cut to the east and go underneath the Shark Key Bridge and fish the bridge, or go north to the Gulf side. Launch number 8 is the Sammy Creek Public Park and Carry Down Launch. It's located on Sugarloaf Key. Basically, you would take the Sugarloaf Boulevard south until you hit the Old State Road, and then you would go west on that, and you would basically go for about 3 miles until you hit the bridge. And just before the bridge on the left side, you'll see the small little park there. It is blocked off in that you cannot drive down into the park. They just have a little chain railing across. However, you can basically squeeze your kayak underneath, and then it's maybe a 50-foot walk down into the actual man-made boat ramp there, and that gets you right into Sammy Creek. If you head north up the creek, it's a very well protected, excellent fun, tight quarters, more like creek paddling, and that opens up into the Sugarloaf Sound, which is a protective spot for windy days. A lot of the paddle boarders can take that route up there because it's a nice paddle. And then if you head south, you're right at the mouth of the opening to the Atlantic. Excellent flats fishing, excellent pilchard mullet spot there, and I catch decent sized mangroves right out of that opening there. And you can head straight out and you can see the American Shoals Tower, which is a good marker for the end of the reef. This park is also very scenic. It's a very beautiful corner there, which is out of the way of everything. There's no residentials in that immediate area, just some real large estates up the road a bit. Great place to have a picnic. They have a nice covered shelter there. Like I said, does not get a lot of traffic. Great place if That whole Old State Road is an excellent bicycling, walking, jogging area. Very quiet, very little road traffic, mangrove lined. And then if you go another roughly maybe a quarter mile, the Old State Road actually ends, and then you could bypass the little fence and you can basically follow that trail, and it keeps going on through the mangroves, and you would be able to hike or possibly mountain bike through it. Just like where the Sugarloaf Boulevard dead ends at the Old State Road, and you would go west to get to the park. The Old State Road actually goes to the east, but there's cordoned off, so no vehicles. However, it's a great walking path that you can follow the old road, and that actually goes all the way back up to the upper Sugarloaf Key, back to the highway. Long walk. I'm not sure if anyone would want to do it, but there's some very picturesque area there, and a bridge that has been taken down, so you'd have to wade through it. Another great non-fishing activity if you wanted to kind of get away and experience nature. Launch number 9 is actually at the Sugarloaf Lodge and Marina. This is the only pay-for launch that I'm listing. It's at $3, and it's the only access that I could find in this area. The only reason kind of why is in that vicinity just to the north there are some larger mangrove keys which have narrow channels through them, which makes it kind of a fun paddle. Plus there's quite a bit of good fishing within those narrow channels there. Plenty of parking, full marina, so it's just a decent spot, but I added it because of the location. Launch number 10 is based out of Cujo Key on the northernmost part of Blimp Road, where actually Blimp Road dead ends. Very nice, large public boat ramp. It's kind of out of the way, so great place to launch. This gets you right into the heart of the Kemp Channel, which if you go south will take you to the Overseas Highway Bridge, and going to the northwest gets you out to the Gulf. I like a spot just west of the Tarpon Valley Keys at the Cujo Channel and the Cujo Basin. It's a nice deep spot, deep pool for catching fish. Launch number 11 is on Summerlin Key. It's located on the northernmost point of Niles Road, basically where the road dead ends. This is a very out of the way launch. I like to go there when there's definitely want to get away from anybody. Not the greatest fishing area. There is some decent flats areas going towards the north, as well as a deeper channel to the east, which is Niles Channel. There's an old derelict bridge there, some old wrecks. Interesting place to take a paddle around out of the wind, and if you just want to see the bunch of little tiny islands and little keys out of the way places. Good place to go. Like I said, definitely out of the way, so kind of just an interesting place to paddle. Launch number 12 is on Summerlin Key on the south side of the Overseas Highway. It's located on East Shore Drive. So basically, as you take the East Shore Drive exit, it's going south. Immediately to the left, the first dirt road, you'll take that dirt road and basically go straight in, and you'll see the opening in the mangroves. Right there is a man-made built canal, I believe for residentials that were going to be built there but never developed. If you follow that channel to the left, it'll take you right out to the Niles Channel and take you right parallel to the Overseas Highway bridge that's right there. This is the first channel slash bridge that is of fair size that would be comparable to the ones that you see on the TV shows and so forth, where you are going to have the lot of water capacity flowing through there, so you do get a lot of more influx of the bigger fish, and will get you the more opportunity to try the actual true bridge fishing. Be forewarned though that this parking area can flood during extreme high tides, which is why I think they never developed it, so you just have to keep an eye on that tide flow. Launch number 13 is located on Middle Torch Key. It is at the cross streets of Middle Torch Road and Big Torch Key Road. Big Torch Key Road is actually a sort of man-made bridge, rock pile bridge that goes across to the other key. The launch is actually right in the center, where they have a drainage canal that goes underneath the two and connects the two little water sections. Use this launch to get access to the Niles Channel just from the northeast side. Again, you can go south to the bridge, or you can go north to the Gulf from that point. Launch number 14 is Little Torch Key Public Boat Ramp, located right on the center of Little Torch Key residential area. It gets you onto the canal access, where you can take the canal going east and get into the Pine Channel. There is a large parking lot right across the street from the boat ramp, kind of a quiet out of the way area, so plenty of parking. And you can take the Pine Channel and go south to the bridge or north to the Gulf. Launch number 15 is located on Big Pine Key. It is at the end of Cones Avenue, Koehns Avenue. It's on the northern side of Big Pine, northeast part of it. It is just basically end of the road style boat ramp, just dead ends into the water, plenty of parking, not utilized a lot. This launch will get you probably the farthest out in the Gulf of any of these public ramps that I've got, and there's a lot of little keys and little channels to fish for out in that area there. A lot of houseboats, sailboats and stuff docked right outside this area, so it's popular with that. And a very pleasant area just to hang out if you're interested in just some place to get away from things. The way you find this area is from the Overseas Highway. You could take the Key Deer Boulevard, and do look out for the deer. Stay under the speed limits. There are a lot of deer there, especially in the residentials. Couple miles up, you'll make a right on Big Pine Street, and you'll go a few blocks until you see the Cones Avenue, which only goes to the left, and you'll follow that north until, like I said, it basically deads end into the water. Launch number 16 is located at the crossing of the No Name Key and Big Pine Key. What it is basically a marina right on the Big Pine side of the No Name Bridge on State Road 4A. It's through the Bogey Channel, and what they do is they charge $5 per kayak launch at the actual marina. However, if you cross over the Bogey Channel, cross the bridge to the No Name Key, immediately on the right hand side you'll see a little cut with a little concrete barrier that provides a little cut in the mangroves that you could launch from on the south side, and you can swing back and then go and hit that bridge for a good bridge fishing, or head north to the Gulf. Launch number 17 is located on No Name Key. If you passed over the No Name Bridge from Big Pine going east, and you followed that State Road 4A all the way till it dead ends, it'll actually end at a blockade in the road. You could park on the sides of the road and then either carry or wheel your kayak through those little barricades, through the mangrove cuts, and that'll get you right into the nice little, it's a covered little beachy area there where you could launch from, and get you out deeper into the Gulf, so you wouldn't have to paddle an extra couple miles when you launch from the overseas highway. Kind of a sheltered area there, so just gotta kind of, like anywhere, is be protective of your belongings. Launch number 18 is located on West Summerlin Key. It is right on the overseas highway on the northern side. It's an actual public built boat ramp, probably one of the nicest ones around. It's basically got a 2-boat launch, and it's got plenty of parking built in for trucks with trailers, as well as, because it receives a lot of tourist traffic, it also has a lot of standard single car parking as well. It's very well located for the fishing side, is that not only you have the Spanish Harbor Bridge there, which you'll see quite a bit on the television shows, especially for the fishing the tarpon. But to the north there in the actual Spanish Harbor is a few large deep cut channels which get down to 30 foot. And that's kind of rare in these close to land spots, as well as you have access to more areas in the Gulf and the little keys to the Gulf. If you go to the south, there is some very deep cuts that go to the towards the west, as well as going out to the Atlantic. There's a lot of potholes and little cliffs and edges around this Spanish Harbor Channel, which means excellent lobstering as well. So very popular place for snorkeling, spearing, lobstering, as well as the general fishing there. If you do want to go to an interesting spot, there is the kind of the deep hole to the east, but there's an actual launch there as well. But it's basically a quarry that I guess they dug it out, but it's basically a 35-foot, half the size of a football field, where they've dug out a big portion of it. Great place there for sheltered snorkeling, diving, and it's got a nice kind of out of the way place there. But my next video will be about that location, because there is a launch there as well. Launch number 19 is located on West Summerlin Key on the eastern side, on the northern part of the overseas highway. It's located just before you get to the Bahia Honda Bridge. The easiest way to locate it is if you were coming west from Miami, crossing over the Bahia Honda Bridge. Immediately after you hit the West Summerlin Key land, if you look to the right, you'll see a road that heads straight down and to the right. There is no actual turnoff from the highway, so you'll just see a paved road that goes to the right. If you take that road, it cuts down and to the right, and it goes down just a little ways and dead ends, and you'll see the little kind of a parkish area there. They've actually just built that area up within the last 6 months. Otherwise, it used to be just a dirt parking lot, but now it's paved and it's got railings and it's very nice. Park there, and then you'll see an opening with some blockades put up so that you can't drive a vehicle down it, but you have plenty of room to walk or carry a kayak through there. It's about 100 feet down to where the water's edge is, but once you get there, you get to a point what's called the horseshoe. And what that is it's probably a little bit smaller than a football field, but it's a 35-foot cutout dugout, man-made dugout, just right in front of the shoreline. So it basically, shoreline, it's kind of a hard clay rock, limestone I guess it is, or whatever. It goes straight out for a little bit and then just drops off down to the 35-foot range. A great place to go snorkeling, having a picnic out there. A lot of families do that because it is sheltered from the wind and it is not a very well-known place. Fishing that little deep spot is supposed to be okay, but I think because of the amount of spear fishermen I see there, it's probably not that great. However, it's in very close proximity to the Bahia Honda Bridge and the old Bahia Honda Bridge. So if you just paddle just to the right, and you can actually see it from the launch, you'll see where the bridge is, and you could basically get right onto the bridge, and it's right in the heart of the tarpon area there, or just normal, very good bridge fishing. However, be very, very careful about the current in that area. It rips like the most out of any of the bridges along the Keys. The current there is because it is the deepest, it carries the most water through there. Gets very choppy whenever the wind blows, because when it gets a cross chop, it gets very rough in there. And also during season, when you get a lot of boats there, it's basically a freeway through there, and it's combat fishing. So a little kayak, you have to be very, very careful. And especially if you're going to be anchoring up there, which is really the only good way of fishing those spots. Just need to be knowledgeable. It's just like fishing in a river. So if you don't have that experience, maybe go to the other bridges that I described earlier and get your feet wet there, and then later on go to the Bahia Honda. But otherwise, this launch is a very nice kickback location. Especially if you want to take the family or go someplace that's a little bit more secluded. Launch number 20 is also on West Summerlin Key, but the far east, right at the edge of the old Bahia Honda Bridge on the south side of the overseas highway. There is now no actual paved road for it. This one is easiest to be found just when you're traveling east on the overseas highway. Just before you get to the bridge, you'll see they're doing construction and building a building up on top. Just before you get to that, you'll see a turnoff to the right where they've just installed a nice little bike pathway, but you'll see the cut to the right that will instantly take you down the hill. It's an old corroded road with a lot of potholes built into it, but it's totally drivable in a car or truck. You just take that road down and it gets you into just basically a dirt field open up area there. You could basically park anywhere there. The location to launch is actually the easiest is as soon as you come down to the base of the hill, if you look to the right or drive to the right, you'll see like an overgrown two-wheeled path covered with grass. But if you look down that little cut area there, you'll see an open beach area there. There's a seawall that runs in front of it, but then right where that beach is, that seawall ends and it's just open beach. That's the easiest place to launch your kayak from. Secondarily, right out in front of where you would generally park, it looks like lava rock that has just basically run out into the ocean there. And depending on when you go there at different tides, it could be covered in water or it can actually be just totally exposed. But it's a hard part limestone or whatever the hard pack rock is. So if you have the beach wheels, you could easily launch from there, or if you had a second person to help you carry it down. It's not a smooth surface. It's got a lot of cuts and grooves in there, so it's definitely a bumpy ride if you're trying to just wheel across it. There is another put down closer to the bridge, but it's a rock wall, so you would have to carry and drop down your kayak, so not as easy as the launch spots there. Right out front there, because it's on the Atlantic side and it's right by the opening by the bridge there, the flats there is a very popular flats opening spot there. It's a great bait location. Just everything sits on that flats there. And then of course you just go a little bit farther to the east and you're right there at the two bridges. The old Bahia Honda Bridge, could fish that, which is more Atlantic side, or you can go the newer bridge where most people fish because it's the deeper cut there. Plus with the old Bahia Honda Bridge, you have to watch out for parts of the bridge falling and killing you, so it's just something to take into consideration. This is also one of the closer launch spots because it goes more south of a cut where the overseas highway is. It's one of the closer locations to getting out to the reef. As well as just the Bahia Honda channel itself is a pretty good pathway to fish anywhere from there all the way out to the reef line.